Hi there, my name is Megan Gillis. I'm a high school art teacher in Sanford, Maine, and I teach grades 9 through 12. Um, our school is pretty much a one-to-one ratio Chromebooks to students, which is really helpful. The school is definitely an underserved community. We have a lot of food insecurity and even shelter insecurity. We definitely have students in our classes that sometimes we don't even know are homeless and are kind of couch surfing. So we have a lot of services in place for those students, but it's definitely a challenging community. But we have a lot of really great kids here. So one of the quotes that stood out to me by Sandra Amat was someone who has had an unstable home life is more likely to have trouble with planning and organizing behavior and inhabiting impulses than someone with a stable life, which I see every day in my classroom, and I'm sure many of you do. Even as recently as the past couple days, I've been trying to get them to get into doing written critiques on their projects in my art fundamentals class. So that class could see students from grades 9 all the way to 12 in varying abilities. Some students are in special ed classes, and this might be their only mainstream course that they're in all day, and they might not even be with an ed tech. So there's a lot of support that they need from me and maybe their peers. So yeah, we see a lot of that. And so I was trying to get them to do their critiques, and they're written. I have them do them on Google Classroom, and I find that a lot of kids who come to my classroom, especially from home lives that are maybe more unstable, art is, even if they don't love art, I find that it's definitely a place where they feel comfortable and at home. It's a change up of, the way their brain is functioning all day, and it feels like a safe space, I feel like, for a lot of kids. Not all of them, but for some of them, especially from these sort of unstable home lives. So when I ask them to do some sort of written aspect or write a paper, that's when I see a lot of the behavior uptick, especially in my underclassmen with sort of insecure home lives. So I was realizing that maybe it wasn't the best activity to be having them do a written critique, and I was thinking about our project from last week where we made a resource to share with everyone using those 4 different sites. So looking at Adobe Spark or ThinkLink or what the other ones, and maybe having them take their vocabulary words that they're doing for their critique and work with partners and using one of those types of technology to come up with how they could teach other kids in the class the critique words using one of those interactive websites rather than just writing a formal critique, which I think would be way more interesting and I think would help serve to my varying population of students because their writing abilities are all over the map. So I think that would be really cool. I think that would also really involve TPACK, thinking about planning a specific activity that involves technology, really looking at the content area, especially the vocabulary words, and the pedagogy of how they're actually going to produce this information and share it with the class. So that's kind of what I took away this week. Thanks.